So this one's called Bible John. Preening in the club's toilet mirror with a small comb, fingertips shift and tweeze strands of hair into neat rows, regimentally wetting the teeth beneath the tap, then raking behind both lug holes. A wedding ring slides off like a bribe placed inside the jacket's top pocket. Your name changes, quick as the flash of a flick knife, and the loose Windsor knot of your tie straightens from an alibi into a secret. This palais is rich for picking. Walls ripen with smokers lighting cigarettes or ruffle behind the dense cherry curtains where the lovers taste hereafter. And here, all are clandestine until closing times on steady laughter. Floorboards rapidly click goodnight until the final pair of gypsies' heels spill out into the platinum moonlight and family pets scream from the dark back closes, but blood makes no sound from the dumb mouths of garden roses. Then suits are cleaned, hair is preened, and faults redeemed on buses home by the Lord's Prayer and Scripture. So my name's Stephen Watt. I am the poetry editor for Nutmeg Football magazine. I used to be Dumbarton Football Club's poet in residence for 7 years, and I have been performing poetry for approximately 15 years. I think at the very start I started reading Caroline Duffy when I was 19 years old, and about 10 years later she became the macker for the UK, so it was a good kind of like grounding, a good base to start from. But John Cooper Clarke is the Bard of Salford, punk poet, so they certainly gave me a kind of a great kind of means to begin spoken word with. But yeah, if I was to actually say about starting writing poetry, it's got to go back to Caroline Duffy. Barbed Halo was written during the pandemic in 2020, and it was when we couldn't really get out that much, but the country opened up. We were allowed to go around Scotland, and I created a kind of a mini tour of the northwest and the northeast of Scotland. Chose about 10 locations of really interesting stories and folk tales, and that is to do with witches and Frankenstein and Dracula and all these kind of like subject matters. And then we went round travelling them all, taking notes, and then when I got back I started to formulate what would become Barbed Halo. I suppose at the time I wasn't sure what it would turn into, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how it prevailed. There's some characters in the book that I feel are almost like kind of underdogs. Some stories are maybe familiar to people, other ones maybe have to dig a little bit deeper. Mucklemouth Meg was considered the ugliest woman in all of Scotland, and what an absolutely horrible label to be put upon anyone, but I thought, well, there's an interesting story to talk about, and there is a happy ending to it. So I think that in the theme of the book there's a lot of darkness, dark subject matters, but at the same time trying to kind of find the light within these stories. I would say that the book was ready by about 2023, so it did take a few years to get there, and I've since had to kind of trim it down because I think I had about 55 poems. Now it's nearer about 43, 44, and yeah, I think that just the book was ready by about 2023, but the initial publisher of the book folded, so I had to kind of be patient until another publisher came along and was interested, and thankfully Seahorse Publications rescued it. I do have performances coming up to plug Barbed Halo in Stirling Central Library. I'm in Edinburgh at the end of September. I've got Falkirk, I've got Balloch, so got a few dates on the horizon anyway. But I do quite like the unknown as well. I love it when an opportunity presents itself when you least expect it. So I'm looking forward to something I don't actually know what's coming my way. So people can catch any of my work on YouTube or on my Facebook or Blue Sky accounts. It's Stephen Watt Poet. If they're looking to buy my books, usually from the publishing outlet, which is Seahorse Publications, or I can post out as well. It's an extra £2 for P&P, but more than happy to oblige if people drop me a direct message. So this one's called Nessie. Some sightings are more explicable than others, like that fuzzy picture from the 1930s, partly otter's tail and arse. In a boiling mass of foam, Loch Ness is a twitching, liquefied spider's nest colonised by eels and catfish. Oxygen tanks will only last so long, and jellyfish know this, stirring up currents like hokum where flashbulbs lose their usefulness below the surface. Still, they come, armed with telescopes and binoculars, harpoons to lance this fictitious creature. Sonar readings lose their signal, and expensive DNA surveys only concede that algae and zooplankton subsist in this darkest hideaway. Then there are those mysterious waves, rolling and plunging in the wake of fishing boats, grey seals and driftwood. Seismic gas growls up towards the moon, and ducks vanish from sight like stars behind clouds at night. Maybe, just maybe,